Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Sports Kings NBA show. I am your host, MeanGene, and I am joined by the one, the only, the man that covers the Carolina Panthers for the NFL and the Charlotte Hornets for the NBA, which is what we're going to be talking about tonight. Hey, Dustin, how you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on, Mean Gene? This is that time of year where we're deep into football now. Basketball's NBA, college basketball. So we are the sports kings. So I know we really focus on NFL and we love how that's going, but we got to get some other sports in here too. And I'm ready to talk some NBA.
We do, Dustin, and I'm glad you mentioned it, man, because here's the thing, NFL, we sort of kind of know heading into what week 12,
Yeah,
I think is going to be a 13 or whatever. We kind of know where things are going, which allows us the time. Normally, Dustin, I don't really like, I mean, I'm watching NBA all the time, but as far as we don't usually get started until Christmas time.
right.
But man, I just think that's too late. The season is like taking off. There's so many storylines. We're only going to be able to talk about a couple of them tonight, but we don't want to wait till Christmas time to come because who knows, man? We would just be that far behind.
Yeah, we don't want to wait till Christmas. There's some big storylines, and also now that you got the NBA Cup, I think there's actually games going on as we speak with the NBA Cup game. So that in season tournament kind of brings a little bit more of a flair to the early season NBA as well.
Absolutely. And I know we have a football oriented audience. So I just got to say to my fans out there, and it amazes me, Dustin, how many people don't like the NFL or don't like the NBA.
Yeah.
It's just funny. We have to like it all. We don't have a choice,
Right.
right? So
Exactly.
I'm hoping that we will, appeal to our NBA audience, and you can also make sure that you can find us here every week. I think we're going to be locked in here for the remainder of the season moving
Yeah.
forward. So, Dustin, look, man, we're going to talk about the NBA standings tonight. We'll look at teams that are struggling, teams that are really surprising us in this early start to the NBA season. Some news, I guess, we'll look at the Mavericks Nico Harrison, who was fired a while
Mhm.
ago. And I know it's been talked about a lot, but we still need to talk about it because the Mavericks are a disaster to start the
Yeah.
season. And of course, we'll talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder. I mean, is
Ooh.
it possible that these guys could repeat, Dustin? Because I don't see where they have missed a beat since last year.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to get into it, so I won't give away all of the talk. But when you are sitting, I'm looking at it right now. When you are sitting here 17-1, and your second best player hasn't played all season, I think the
Hello.
Oklahoma City Thunder are in a pretty good spot.
Yes, it's remarkable. Jalen Williams hasn't played, and it's just remarkable.
And when
But
we get into it, Gene, I think fans are going to see, like, when we actually, and this is what this show is going to be about. Like, I know from the outside, people can look at the standings and see what's going on. But when we get into some of these nuances, and probably a point I'll make on the Thunder here in a little bit, fans are going to really see why they are so good because of how they built this team.
yeah, and wait a minute. One of the things I want to talk about later on, Dustin, is just I looked at Tyronn Lue's salary for coaching the Clippers, and I looked at
Yeah.
Mark Daigneault. It is like far. It's like you would think it's like highway robbery how much Daigneault is getting paid compared to Tyronn Lue, but we'll talk about that too. So, Dustin, one of the biggest things and one of the main reasons why we decided to kind of come on earlier than we normally do is because the injuries we're used to injuries in the NFL that
Yeah.
put players out for the year, and of course they got the next man up. They got a 53-man roster. The
Yeah.
the NBA don't have 53-man rosters, so some of these key injuries that happened this year in the NBA, and I'm just going to go ahead and
Mm.
name a couple of big names here. Well, we already knew about Tyrese Halliburton for the Indiana Pacers. He's going to be out the entire season,
Yeah.
and this dates all the way back to last year in the finals
Yeah.
due to that torn Achilles. Damian Lillard, the same thing pretty much. But you got Antetokounmpo.
Yeah.
He's out with a groin.
Jason Tatum, too. Don't forget about him.
Jason Tatum,
Yep.
Kyrie Irving. We know about those guys, but man, yeah. But like right now, you got Anthony Davis. Of course, no surprise the injuries, right?
Yeah.
John Morant, Darius Garland, Victor Wembanyama, which
Mm.
is huge, and Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah, and the list goes on and on. We left names out. I mean, we left out the ongoing thing that is Joel Embiid and Paul George in Philly. Here in Charlotte, LaMelo Ball and his ongoing injuries. There's so many stars right now in the league. It's truly unbelievable the amount of injuries they have. And I think we say this for all sports, Gene. It's just your league relies on stars. I mean, I know the NFL, everybody loves to watch it, but it's because they want to watch stars. The NBA, they want to watch stars. Baseball, you want to watch Shohei Ohtani and the Aaron Judge and those guys. Like, leagues rely on their stars, and when they're this banged up this early into the season, it definitely hurts the product. Now, I think I saw some the other day that ratings are actually up for the NBA to start this season, so that is a very good thing. But if these guys are out long periods of time, that only hurts the product over time. And Gene, it's a tough balance right now of what teams do with these players. We didn't even mention your team and LeBron James missing the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season. There's just so many guys, and I know people get mad when they hear load management and things like that. But with all of these injuries, Gene, it's almost tough to fault the teams that sometimes that they are kind of resting these guys because they do want them for the long run. So you kind of got a 50-50 there. You want them out there for the fans every night if you can, but at the same time, you want to make sure they're there at the end for this playoff run after an 82-game season. So organizations really are having a tough time trying to manage this injury thing that's going around the league right now.
They are, Dustin. And look, the NBA, they provide the media an injury report, which, man, it's crazy compared to the NFL one, right? I mean, on any given night, a team might have 7 guys that are not ready to go. And when you look at some of the reasoning, I mean, some of these, like, the Darius Garland and Halliburton and the Tatum ones, those are major injuries. But just on any given night, because, they play 82 games and there's back-to-back nights. And that injury list, man, there's foot, there's calf, there's strain, this, that, and the other. But Dustin, I wanted to dive a little bit deeper into it. If you look at the style of play that the NBA is playing now, they got the defensive schemes that require players to move around a lot. You see a lot of folks running out there, jumping up, trying to defend the three. And then most of these issues are soft tissue issues, meaning like a calf or a hamstring.
Yeah, and listen, Gene, I know there's going to be the listeners that we have. There's probably going to be a portion of the fan base that's going to sit there and go and listen. You can probably speak to this better than I can. Going back a ways, but there's going to be that portion of the fan base that goes, "Oh man, these guys are soft." Back in the 80s and 90s, nobody ever missed a game, and you know what? I understand that, but and I get it. Sometimes the load management can be a little too much. But I don't think it's as black and white as that to basically hate on this era of basketball because they're out with some injuries and just say, oh, it was better in the 80s and 90s, which you just mentioned. No offense to the guys in the 80s and 90s. I mean, Jordan, those guys were all-time greats. And, I mean, I grew up on them. You watched them. But that doesn't mean, like, the game today is more explosive. They're more athletic. And they're, like you said, they're asked to do more as far as the explosiveness goes. It's running up and down nonstop. Back in the 80s and 90s, and again, I'm one of the ones I don't like to compare. So I'm not going to sit here and say which brand of basketball was better. But back in the 80s and 90s, we're talking about games that were in the 70s and 80s and 90s in points. Games today, we're talking in the 120s and the 130s. Like, it's just how the game evolves. It's the same in football and the same in baseball. Guys are just so much more athletic, and their bodies are built so much crazier that they're going to have more of these soft tissues injuries. So I wish fans would just take a holistic approach and not just bash like, oh, this is not the 80s and 90s basketball I used to watch. I hate the NBA. I think you got to look at it from both angles and just see how the game has evolved over time.
And I would agree with that because I am one of those guys that, my first ever NBA game I saw in person was in 1983, the Seattle Supersonics and the Golden State Warriors. The late, great Lenny Wilkins was the head coach, right? So you're right. I mean, the game, I have seen it change over the years, man. I remember that era. That was the Bernard King era. And then I also remember the Sean Kemp era and the Michael Jordan in that era. And now looking at this era today, you're right, Dustin. It is much the defense that they're required to play because you got 7 footers shooting 3 points. You just can't sit around and watch no more. You know, you can't be a spectator, as they used to say. You actually got to move, and these guys are moving, man, and they're doing a lot. The defensive schemes, the matchups. I mean, it is a lot. So I do get it. I respect that.
And listen, and not just that, Gene. If you look at it from an organization standpoint, I mean, look how much these guys are getting paid now. We're talking $60 million a season almost. So like, I get it. The organizations are investing so much money in these guys that they want to make sure over the full season they're getting taken care of. And right. It sucks because the fans are going to miss out on some nights here and there where the guys won't be on the court, and you hate to see that. But at the same time, Gene, if you were an owner investing $60 million in $360 million contracts, you're going to do what's best for that guy to make sure he's taken care of over the long term.
Yeah, you do, and then you know, you got your G League, which has become more relevant in basketball now. Guys are coming up for playing 2-way contracts, 10-day contracts. So these owners are trying to get the best out of these players. So you talked about LeBron James there. Now here's a guy. I guess if anyone could have an excuse or load management, it would be LeBron James, right?
Yes, 41 years old. What is this year 23?
Year 23. First time he's ever missed the start of a season.
It's
this injury had to be critical for him to set out damn near a month before he even gets on the court. So, you know, we talk about the Lakers here, but I just kind of wanted to talk about that injury thing. And we still got, look, some of these teams here, let's just talk about the Indiana Pacers, because the Pacers, man, look, we're going to go to the standings right quick over in the Eastern Conference, and we'll cover this a little bit more in detail. But if you look at the Indiana Pacers are 2-15. This was a team that was in the NBA Finals just 5-6 months ago, right?
Yeah.
But look, Dustin, there's a reason why these guys are 2-15.
Yes.
And the injury to Halliburton is huge, but man, they did some trades in the offseason that I don't know if those were the best trades. They missed the hell out of Miles Turner there.
Yes. And not only do they miss him, I think this was one of, I'm not going to call it a blunder. I just think when you're in the finals, you know Halliburton's going to be out for the year, and you let probably your second, third best player with Pascal Siakam, you let Miles Turner go. And the thing about it is, Gene, not only did he leave, he went to your rival. I don't know if people know this about the NBA, but the Milwaukee Bucks and Indiana Pacers absolutely hate each other. And the fact that they lost him to the Bucks is just a huge blow. Now, they've had other injuries as well, not just Halliburton. They've been banged up a lot, what we just talked about. But you're right, to go from the finals to now sitting at 2-15, which is tied with the Wizards for the lowest amount of wins in the entire NBA. That's a crazy thing to think of. But you just got to think, this is how quickly the league's going to change. Like, they will probably end up getting a top 5 or 10 pick, and then Halliburton's going to come back. You still got Rick Carlisle. So I think this is a one-year blip on the radar, but it's just crazy how you lose your star player for that season and then lose somebody to a rival, and that kind of sets your season up to kind of go downhill pretty quickly.
I mean, 2-15 is ridiculous for a team. You got to think, and it's not like some of those other role players are still on that team, and you know, it's just unbelievable. Look, but they've lost 9 of the last 10 games.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. But another team that's in a similar boat, look, the Celtics are not doing much better. I mean, if the playoffs were to start today, they would be in a play-in situation. But look, man, they actually Tatum is out, but they got rid of a lot of players on their team. They let Horford go. They sent Porzingis over to the Atlanta Hawks. So
Drew Holiday.
I don't know, man. I mean, I couldn't understand some of the moves that Boston made as well.
Yeah. Porzingis, Horford, Drew Holiday, a lot of glue veteran guys on this team, and with Tatum out. And Gene, this just goes back to what we're getting into, especially looking at this Eastern Conference right here. I'm not sure if there's ever been a conference that's been more wide open than this conference is going into this season. You just mentioned it, Tatum out. You mentioned Halliburton. You mentioned now Antetokounmpo's out. Like, it's wide open for anybody. And that's why even the team, not to say to win the championship, but even these teams at the bottom with bad records, and I look at my team as one as the Hornets, who I thought had some talent and maybe could do something this year. It's still early, but they've got off to a bad start. Like, those teams not necessarily should say, hey, I'm going to compete for a title but you should say, hey, I could probably be a play-in team. I could maybe get to that AC because of how wide open. Like, look at some of these teams. Like, you got the Detroit Pistons sitting at number 1 right now with a 13-game winning streak. You've got the Chicago Bulls up there in a playoff spot ahead of the Celtics. It's that wide open in the East. I'm going to be very curious to see who can take advantage of it. You look at teams like Cleveland, who had a huge year last year, you think would be near the top. New York Knicks, Gene. I've heard it from the start of the season. If this is going to be a year they go to the finals, it needs to be this year they take advantage of a weak Eastern Conference. So a lot of these teams got a lot of pressure on them because of how weak the East is.
Yeah, I got to say, I expected New York to probably come out a little bit hotter than what they did. I mean, they're not bad right now. But look, the Pistons, tell you what, man, you saw this coming, though. I mean, last year they made a remarkable turnaround, and they're not playing around. That team is more mature. Just think what they did, man. They gave a guy $75 million to not coach and brought in a GM who brought in his own guy. And look at this team, man. This is remarkable in this time. Look, the Pistons haven't been relevant since Rip Hamilton and Chauncey Billups and Ben Wallace back in 2004 when they won that championship. So you got to look, man, Pistons fans, especially, they don't know where the Detroit Lions are going to go this year.
Yeah.
So,
and I think you're right.
The Tigers did mighty good up there this year. So
Detroit's got a lot of good stuff going now when it comes to sports teams.
Really do.
And listen, you said it right. We saw this coming with the Pistons last year. They were like 6th in the East. They were making that climb. I don't know if I saw them going 15-2 to start the season. That's unbelievable. And look, Gene, we talk about how wide open it is. Look at the team who's in second place, the Toronto Raptors.
Well, that's a surprise as well.
I mean, they haven't been good since Kawhi Leonard was there helping them win a championship, and they had a guy like Brandon Ingram. They still have Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett. They've got some veteran guys. So when you talk about the East wide open, did we think the Pistons would make the playoffs? Yes. Did we think they'd be 15-2? Probably not. We probably didn't think the Raptors would be 13-5. We probably didn't think the Heat would be 3rd at 12-6 with some of the moves they made. So it's wide open. Yes, wide open right now.
Because the Cavaliers, look, that was the team I expected to see number 1. Because the way things just went last year with getting those injuries, Darius Garland still out, getting ousted in the playoffs, that was something that Cavalier fans didn't expect to see, Dustin. But I thought if any team in that East was going to come out hot, it would have been either the Knicks or the Cavaliers. And look, that's not the case. Miami, I mean, come on. Eric Spoelstra, one of the highest paid coaches in the NBA, always look. Tyler Hero is back now. He was on that injury list. They were doing well without Hero.
His first game back was last night.
Yes, so he's back now. So just imagine I mean, the East is going to be fun. It used to be boring all the time, but now.
I mean, if we had to talk about it right now, I still would have Cleveland and New York as the favorites. I still will put them at the top. I know it's kind of all over the place right now. I still think in the end those will be the top 2 teams that have the most experience. And again, I would say, Gene, if you just talked about it, if I'm the Knicks or the Cavs and I don't make it out of the East this year, it's a failure. Honestly, to me, those are the 2 teams you should be able to go to the finals. The rest of them, they're just happy to be up there, see what happens. But those 2 teams have the biggest pressure on them in the Eastern Conference.
Well, it's going to be a lot of flip-flop in there. Even I would expect the Knicks, Celtics, some of those teams down there in the bottom to move up.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Indiana somehow improves a little bit. I mean, I know it looks
Philly with Embiid. Who knows what happens there? I mean,
who knows? So, all right, I got the East. The West up here.
The West is a whole different story.
It's scary to think, and we said at the start of this show that the Oklahoma City Thunder, they are your defending champions. But I tell you what, man, I wouldn't bet nothing against this team that they are going to probably repeat or at least get back to the Western Conference Finals. They don't even have their full team. And that 3-headed monster has only been a 2-headed monster for the most part, but they have the best bench in basketball. those guys that you get Isaiah Joe out there, you get Wallace, you get Dort, you get Mitchell. These guys contribute. I've never seen a bench. Give it up to Mark Daigneault, man. This bench comes out there and contribute. It's not like they're coming out there to give guys a rest. This is a scary team, and when they get Jalen Williams back, watch out.
Give it up to Daigneault. Give it up to Sam Presti. I mean, it's truly unbelievable what they have built with this. And again, they're 17-1, and like you said, Jalen Williams hasn't played a game, and
crazy.
That is scary for the Western Conference. Now I'm looking at these standings, and again, I think the West is a completely different story. It is absolutely loaded. And are the Oklahoma City the favorite? 100% they are. But I'm gonna tell you right now, I like what the Denver Nuggets did in the offseason. You see them number 2 right there.
Yeah.
Getting rid of Michael Porter Jr., not a bad player. I just don't think he really fit with them. Bringing in a veteran guy who kind of knows his role more like a Cam Johnson. Bringing Bruce Brown back. And Jokic is still doing what he always does, just making unbelievable play after unbelievable play. I like what they're doing. The Lakers, Gene, we're going to get into them. That top 4 right there. And 5th with San Antonio, that all hinges on Wemby because –
yeah,
Gene, I don't mean to hate on you because I know you the once back in the day said you weren't sure about him, but that first
I've changed that tune, buddy.
That first 2-3 weeks of the season,
hey, can I be
he
a
was the MVP of the league. Yeah, go ahead. I mean, because those first 3 weeks of the season, he was probably the best player in the league. He was dominating. So we'll see what happens when he comes back. But those I think Oklahoma City is a clear favorite. But those top 4, Gene, are dangerous. And we hadn't even talked about Minnesota, who's sitting down there at 7. This Western Conference has got some big-time players in it.
Look at the first 6 teams there. Look at their last 10. They all have, like, winning records there. I mean, this is crazy. Look, you got 8 teams that have won double-digit games already. Yeah. And the Golden State, trust me, it'll work out in Golden State. But when you look at Minnesota, I expected that. The Phoenix Suns is a surprise to me.
Yes, they are.
That is definitely a surprise, knowing that Kevin Durant was traded, and they just don't really have a lot of big-time players in Phoenix. They don't even have Bradley Beal anymore. So, but they there.
Jalen Green's been hurt.
And Jalen Green is out now. He's going to be out for a considerable amount of time. But look, you talk about the Lakers. I mean, look at this start here. You've had at least 3 or 4 games of those 16 games that Luka didn't play, and it was Austin Reeves that carried the team and Rui Hachimura. So now
I know you've been hard on the Lakers the past couple seasons, but I think this year, Gene, they are a contender. And I think we said it, Luka. We knew he was going to come back in shape and be angry with how things happened last year. Mm-hmm. And you talk about playing at an MVP level, talking about Wemby and Joker and guys like that. Luka has been unbelievable. And with Austin Reeves stepping up and now LeBron getting back, I really like, and I think JJ Redick is a damn good basketball coach. And I think the Lakers have a lot to look forward to this season.
We're starting to see that now. And then, of course, it helps when you have the Clippers and the Kings and the Mavericks are down there in the bottom tier now, because those have teams that have, also been in this top 10 over the last couple of years. But no, I like, it's going to be interesting to see what, I think the Lakers' future look brighter than their present, because when you get this $52 million back from LeBron, go ahead and add the other $2 million from Bronny. So you got about $55 million coming back, because they're going to be going on the buddy plan, right? On the family plan. And the Lakers free agency, look, they have made it no secret that they're going after Giannis. They're going after the Joker. The Joker has mentioned wouldn't be bad to play, or was it Luka? One of them mentioned wouldn't be a bad idea to play with Luka or the Joker. So watch out for the Lakers in the future, and the ownership there. The ownership of the Dodgers bought the Lakers, so that how much money the Dodgers spend. So the Lakers, Steve Ballmer won't be the only one in town spending a whole lot of money.
Yeah, they're getting that organization right. I think with the moves they made to bring some of the Dodgers people in, I think you are right. I think the Lakers' future is bright. But I still think this year's bright as well too. I think They have everything in front of them if they stay healthy as well. Before we get to the Clippers and the Mavs, two teams that are at the bottom, because we want to touch on them. Put this graphic up,
definitely.
Gene, that I just put in. I want to show you this. When we're talking about the Oklahoma City Thunder, I need you to look at this. This is the current draft order if the season was to end today. The Thunder, Gene, are 17-1, and if the season ended, they would have the 3rd pick, the 9th pick, and the 26th pick in this year's draft. They would have 3 first-round picks, and they're 17-1. Now, you talk about an organization and Sam Presti building something. That's what I alluded to earlier when I said this is how they're building it. They're the best team in the NBA, and they've got draft picks for days. So if you think this is slowing down, this is just getting started. So the Thunder are going to be around for a long, long time. There was a part a couple of days ago, Gene, where they had 2 picks inside the top 10, and they were sitting with 1 loss on the season.
That's remarkable.
It's unbelievable.
It is, and this is why, because look, when they were non-relevant, they made decisions.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, man, that's going to be scary because look, there's a bunch of good players in college basketball this year.
It's a loaded draft.
Like last year's class was good. This year's class is going to be good too, Dustin. That's incredible stuff. Dustin, let's talk about these Clippers real quick, because I was just out there a couple of weeks ago. I had a chance to go to this state-of-the-art arena that they play in, the Intuit Dome. Look, Steve Ballmer is the richest owner probably in all of sports, I would think.
Yeah.
And look, this guy, he spent $2 billion on the Clippers in 2019, 2015 or something like that?
So, yeah.
So he spent $2 billion on the Clippers, which was outrageous at that time. And then he also spent $2 billion of his own money to build that arena, not costing the city of LA anything.
Yeah.
And this guy's just loaded. And he has also paid these players handsomely. But I can tell you this right now. If he had to do it all over again, he would not have traded Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah, no, that was definitely one of the worst trades that they made to get Paul George. We saw how that turned out. Listen, Gene, they're at a crossroads. Like I think we all can sit here and say that Ty Lue's a very good basketball coach, one of the top coaches in the league. And listen, what's crazy is they're 5-12, and I think James Harden is playing some of his best basketball that he's played in a few years. Like he dropped 55 against the Hornets the other day. He's playing some good basketball, but it just seems like until they get off of this Kawhi Leonard thing, Gene, I don't think that they're going to want to go where they need to go. And Steve Ballmer is not going to sit back and continue to take this. But it's not only the fact that Kawhi Leonard can't stay healthy. I don't know if people saw the stories about how that fake money was rolling in from whatever sponsorship. It's just too much around Kawhi Leonard that is bad pub for a team. And I think this is the year where Steve Ballmer and the Clippers got to be like, it's time to cut ties and rebuild a different way. And like you said, if you're the Clippers team with a new arena, a rich owner, it shouldn't take you long to get it back on track. But I think the Kawhi Leonard era of the Clippers basketball has to come to an end. Do I expect them to get better this year and make a playoff push? They have too much talent to be sitting at 5-12 right now.
Well,
but do I think they can be a contender? Not until they get rid of Kawhi Leonard.
Well, they got Bradley Beal, so I don't know. I think Steve Ballmer, and look, this guy supports his team. He's there every night, man.
Yes.
Cheerleader, he's the biggest cheerleader in the building. But I got to think, man. I got to think Tyronn Lue's been there for 4 years. He's been steady. He hasn't shaken up the organization.
Yeah.
But I got to think, man, because look, this arena is no joke. It's state of the art.
It's awesome.
It's facial recognition. It's like being in an episode of the Matrix. I mean, this arena is crazy, man.
Yeah.
And I got to think that this guy is going to say, hey, look here, man. Look, millionaires and billionaires don't get rich by just throwing away their money, They didn't become rich by doing that. And of course, I'll never know because I'm not one of them, right? But I can tell you this, though. I just think when I think back to Shai Gilgeous and how that trade, I think that went down in 2019 or something like that.
Yes.
There, I think there was a way that you could have had Shai Gilgeous and Kawhi and made it work. But Kawhi is so funny. I don't know, but
He's a weird dude. He's
just a weird guy, and I don't know. I don't know what the Clippers are going to do, but as
And,
far as
and
them getting
listen,
out of
and
that
and
hole,
listen, the start of the season, Gene. If people don't realize, they went for it. We're talking re-signing James Harden. Kawhi Leonard's obviously still there. They brought in
right?
Bradley Beal, as you mentioned. They brought in
Mhm.
Brook Lopez, who was a starter from Milwaukee,
Yeah.
be the backup to Zubac. So, and then they got John Collins in a trade from Utah. So
Oh hell yeah.
they rebuilt their team to say we're trying to be a contender. And you start off 5-12. I know it's not the
Yeah.
same pressure as the Lakers because that's the Lakers town, but people in
Right.
LA and Steve Ballmer ain't going to settle for 5-12
No.
when you got guys
No.
like that on the roster.
And I got to think that Tyronn Lue could be his last year. Look, the Clippers, and we go back to that standing right now, which 5-12. Look, I mean, they're nowhere near the playoffs if it started today. I mean, the Jazz is better than the Clippers. That's a
They're down
shame
there with
within
teams that
itself.
are tanking, Gene.
Portland is better than the Clippers.
Yeah.
That's a damn shame. I can't understand it, but I can tell you this: if they don't get to the 10th, 9th, or 8th spot there,
Yeah.
Tyronn Lue is going to be gone.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Mavericks because
my
we
goodness.
talked about this team. I know that's your favorite team, right?
I've been ready to talk about this, Gene. Yes.
Okay, so the Dallas Mavericks. This is a team that was in the NBA Finals. Was it 2 seasons ago?
2 seasons ago, yes.
And then general manager Nico Harrison decides, well, I don't know. I think we can do better. I think I can go and convince my bosses that we can trade Luka Doncic and bring in Anthony Davis, who I have a great relationship with, and we can build pieces around Anthony. And this was before they ever knew that they was going to get the number 1 pick, right?
Yeah.
And we got Kyrie coming back. And so I think the future for the Mavericks is going to look good. So let's make this trade. So they make this trade. They bring in Anthony Davis. And all of a sudden, whoa, the NBA gods bless them with the number 1 pick in the NBA draft, and they get Cooper Flag, right? So
ridiculous.
Dustin, they bring on Cooper Flag, and Jason Kidd had this bright idea to make him a point guard, which is
again ridiculous.
Like, okay, what the hell? This is one of the reasons why they're 5-14 for that little bit of experiment.
Yeah, I'm not sure where to start here, and if fans don't know watching the show, Gene's joking about this being my favorite team. I was very upset that this team traded away a generational superstar and then just had the number 1 pick fall in their lap. I know it's a lottery. I know people say it's not rigged. It's ridiculous that this team got rewarded for making the worst trade in NBA history. And Gene, Nico, he got it from the fans in Dallas ever since that happened. If I'm him, I'm moving to LA because I don't think he'll ever buy a drink again in LA because he hand wrapped and gifted Luka Doncic to the LA Lakers.
Yeah.
Again,
yeah.
I know Luka was out of shape, had some injuries, but he was a 25, 26-year-old generational superstar in his prime. And the fact that not only did you trade him, Gene, and I know as a Lakers fan, you get a kick out of this, you traded him to a rival in the Western Conference. Why would you make the Lakers that much stronger? This is what, a year or 2 ago now, and I still am fuming every time we talk about this trade. I thought he deserved to be fired then, and props to the fan base. They did not let up. Even when they got Cooper Flag and got the number 1 pick, they didn't let that go and say, oh, we're moving on with Cooper. They still let Nico know every night in the arena that they didn't want him, and they finally had enough. Bad start, 5-14. Time to get him out. And Gene, we're on this show all the time, and we don't wish for people to get fired. They're human beings. But when you make a move like that, there should be no surprise that you got fired. And it's just unbelievable. I still can't fathom that move actually happened. It's a generational superstar in his prime.
Right.
For Anthony Davis, don't get me wrong, who's a great player, but a guy who's older and injury prone. It makes 0 sense.
Well, I question the moves and the trade, of course, but I also question the firing in a sense that if he convinced management that if they signed off on it, he's the GM, right? I don't know if there's a layer between him and the owners of the Mavericks. I mean, there could be. He didn't run it by Mark Cuban, who was a minority owner. We know that much. But I question the firing now. I'm thinking, okay, Okay, I mean, there's injuries now. I mean, there's
ownership
injuries.
has to take some blame. Absolutely, yeah.
So there's injuries now, and I mean, Kawhi is going to come back. Cooper Flag is going to get better. AD, I think the injury to AD, that's something that they should have saw coming. But I did question, what good did it do to fire him now? Because I mean, the damage was already done, and Kyrie comes back, and Kyrie plays his position, and I mean, I think this team. I think if any of those teams at the bottom of the cellar there in the West, I think the Mavericks will probably be one of the ones that are turning around, maybe before the All-Star break.
See, I don't know if I see it, Gene. And I'm a Duke guy. I'm a Cooper Flag guy. I think he's another generational talent. I think he's going to be really, really good. He's already starting to come along these last few games. But I don't know if it's going to happen this year. I mean, Kyrie comes back. We'll see how he does. I think Anthony Davis is going to continue to be in and out of the lineup. And Clay, to me, Clay is now kind of a washed player. He's not the same as he used to be. I just don't know if
he's playing with a little bit of attitude now. Huh?
He is now. He is. He got him a girlfriend now. He's got a little attitude.
A girlfriend.
So
listen, Megan Thee Stallion said you got to get a little rough, man, if you're going out with me, man.
That's right. So I just don't know if I see it turning around. And I think a couple of things to your point. I think they thought this would finally go away once they got Cooper Flag, and they were like, okay, we'll keep Nico, and eventually this is going to blow over. But that didn't happen. Like, I don't know if you've seen the reports, Gene.
They probably would have.
Well, the players said that they didn't even feel good playing in their home arena because all they heard all game was chants about Nico and fire Nico, and they just said the environment was terrible. And I think ownership finally was like, hey,
and I think that's
we got to make a move. And then the second point that you made that I don't think people realize until you go read the backstory is when that new owner took over and Nico came in, they kind of pushed Mark Cuban to the side, like you said. Now, Mark Cuban built this thing, right?
He did.
And they kind of pushed him to the side. I don't know if you know this now, but now that Nico is fired, guess who's back in charge of things? It's Mark Cuban. He's coming back around, and they put him kind of back in charge of what's going on. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there because it's a weird dynamic around what's going on with the Mavericks because we hadn't even talked about the off the court stuff where they're trying to get a casino built in Texas around this arena. You mentioned if they want that much casino money, maybe they go to Vegas. I mean, it's just Vegas. It's crazy stories on and off the court with the Dallas Mavericks. Right?
Well, I tell you what, and I got a little bit more information on that. The new ownership of the Mavericks, which is Patrick Dumont, I believe, said that there's no plans to move the team, even though Las Vegas has been mentioned as the next possible NBA stop. They also, I think they hired a president to do a team president to do some day-to-day operations, but they do want a new arena development. I think the American Airlines Center, I saw an NBA Finals there back in 2011. That arena's been around now for 20-something years, and it's just funny how 20-year arenas are old all of a sudden. But what they want to do, and they want to build a complex where they, just an entire complex. But a lot of that hinges on whether or not the state of Texas allows gambling, because they want a casino. They want it in Texas, though.
Yeah. Exactly.
And if Texas allows gambling, then you're going to see that whole new arena development, sort of like in Pittsburgh up there. They have like a casino right across the street from Ashland Stadium there. So that's just what it is. But I tell you what, though, now the governor of Texas has green-lighted that, so saying he's okay because Texas borders Oklahoma, legalized gambling, Arkansas legalized gambling, Louisiana legalized gambling, New Mexico legalized gambling. So all of these people from Texas are going to these different states,
it's everywhere,
billions of dollars. Yeah, I think it's going to be it's a matter of time. And then if that's the case, those people are going to build the Mavericks. That place is going to be like Disney World. If they get their way.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens moving forward with them. You mentioned it. Putting Cooper Flag at point guard just is not the right move.
Oh my God.
I think Jason Kidd's a good coach, but that's ridiculous.
Now, he's trying to get fired doing stupid stuff like that. Because I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't know what they're. I don't think their future is Anthony. I don't think their future is Anthony Davis, Gene. I think if this continues to go bad, that he could possibly be traded by the deadline. And there's rumors that if it doesn't go well, that Cuban may want to blow this thing up. So it's going to be interesting to see what Mavericks are going to be a team to watch here moving forward.
I put your draft board back up there, and the Mavericks are in a good spot also.
If they come out with another number one pick again,
I mean,
Gene, I might be done. I might be done because, again, I don't know your thoughts on this. I know it's a lottery, and there's been rumors over the years, Patrick Ewing, LeBron James at Cleveland. Now this, I just don't know how they got the number one pick. I just don't get it. I get the lottery is to prevent tanking, but I absolutely hate the lottery. And maybe that's coming from a Hornets fan who's been bad and they can't get the number one pick. But teams who are that bad need some stars, especially smaller market, and somehow these bigger markets continue to get the stars.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. I understand. The Powerball and the Mega Millions are a little bit more understandable than the NBA lottery. I mean, it shouldn't be that difficult. I don't know how that's a hell of a chance,
Yeah.
But it's when you hear those 1 in 30 million chances. Well, that was that 1 in 30 million chances that they got that pick. So
and maybe they'll continue to hinge on Cooper Flag. And again, I think he's going to be a franchise player. But if Luka and the Lakers somehow make a deep run and possibly get to the NBA Finals, Mavericks fans are still going to be crying when they go to bed at night.
Well, yeah. I think the Mavericks are going to get to 500 some kind of way. Okay. I mean, this is still a young season. A lot of that is going to hinge on. We didn't talk about the Houston Rockets either.
Yeah.
Who are, they made a hell of a trade too in the offseason to bring in Kevin Durant, and they sent Dylan Brooks and Jalen Green over to Phoenix. Yeah. But man, look at Ime Udoka is just doing what he does best. I mean, whoever he has, he's going to work with them. But the Rockets are looking pretty good too. And
if they could find a way to get a point guard at the deadline, Gene, because the Fred VanVleet injury is brutal. If they could get one, I would definitely, and I still do, but I would have them even more as legit contenders. If Fred VanVleet was there, I would have them as more contenders. That's a brutal injury to them. But you're right. They not just Kevin Durant. I don't think people talk about Sengun enough, and he's like a mini Joker. Shepard and Thompson's playing better now. I mean, they've got some players on that team.
Yeah, that's the better Thompson. Of course.
Is the better Thompson.
He's better than his brother.
They're both good.
I think what they should have done was not let Cam Whitmore go, because I think that was the shining star for that team. But he got caught up in that whole Durant trade.
He's a locker room cancer, though, Gene. He's wanting to be on the floor and play minutes. He's kind of having that issue in Washington right now where he feels like he should be getting more minutes. So I get it. He's got a lot of talent. I just think with this Durant trade, they've got some veterans in there now. They've got some guys. Udoka's a great coach. So it'll be interesting to watch them as well.
Yeah, so – well, Dustin, I mean, we almost kind of covered everything in 45 minutes, right?
We did, but one thing we haven't touched on, we can touch on just for 1 minute, is this. We were just putting up the pictures of the draft order for next year. These rookies, Gene, from this class are playing some really good basketball. You talk about Cooper Flag, you talk about VJ Edgecombe, Dylan Harper was playing well before he went out with an injury to the Spurs, and maybe I'm bringing this up because I can actually toot my own horn with the Hornets here, Gene. I think Con Knipple is the rookie of the year right now. I don't know if you've seen what he's been doing in Charlotte.
I've been watching.
He leads 3-pointers in the league. He's the last 5 to 10 games, he's averaging 28 points a game. He's been the Hornets' best player, which is saying something. This entire rookie class, and I don't just say that for Con Knipple, but this entire rookie class is really playing well so far early in the season.
Is it Queen down there?
Derek Queen and
I mean, I've been watching these guys up playing. The guy from Philly just came out of nowhere. I mean, this guy acts like he's a 4th-year player already.
Yeah.
So I mean, look, a lot of great things to look at in the NBA. I mean, this is early. We'll probably come back and try to get you going here every week if possible. To kind of the Christmas Day games are coming up. Hey, how about the NBA deciding to give the NFL a little run for their money on Thanksgiving Day? They got their own 3-game slate there.
Yeah.
That they want. I do have one complaint though, Dustin. NBA fans of the Inside the NBA. I believe we got duped. because I don't know what ESPN is trying to do. We were led to believe that the NBA inside the NBA would be on every week, and that's not the case. They are only coming on for highly marketable games, and who the hell knows when. I don't know if this is what we thought it was going to be, because they're pushing Malika Andrews and Perkins and that group. That group sucks. There's nothing compared. You cannot compare to Ernie, Charles, Shaq, and Kenny.
Yeah, the first 2 weeks I thought, all right, this is looking pretty good. ESPN hasn't changed anything. The guys are still being the guys. They're doing their things the same way. I'm good with it. But you're right. They're off from now until I think Christmas Day or after Christmas.
Crazy.
And like to have them off for a month, I get it. They're trying to set them up because they're going to be working a lot the second half of the season. But you got to have these guys on weekly. I mean, they are, as far as post-game, pre-game shows, they're the heart and soul of the NBA. And it's just the entertainment factor. You got to have them on. So, yeah, I am missing them on my TV each week. Absolutely.
And how about the decision to remove Stephen A. from the NBA Countdown?
I think it's a good move. Don't get me wrong. I don't like. I know a lot of people hate on Stephen A. and I don't mind seeing him on First Take. I think he brings an entertainment value. But I kind of say this, and this is coming from a guy who also likes Pat McAfee. I think ESPN, they kind of oversaturate Stephen A. and Pat McAfee on ESPN. So scaling them back a little bit, I don't think is a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing, because I mean, look, there's always come on, Dustin. We have met beat writers and reporters all over the country. There's some real great talent out there.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, it's nice to see some new faces pop up.
Yeah.
And look, after listening to Orlovsky and those guys, we know how they think already.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You can say their words before they even say them. It's just nice to mix it up a little bit and throw it in. But that's our 2 cents, Dustin. So, hey, not bad, man. For those of you who'd like the NBA and the NFL, me and Dustin will be back on tomorrow doing our NFL weekly prediction show. What is it? Is it week 13, Dustin?
It's week 13, yes.
Jesus Christ.
So a lot of games going on. It's a perfect time. We'll be back for NFL tomorrow. This is a perfect time to get NBA started. When we come back next week, I think we'll have the results of who's advancing in the NBA Cup tournament. So, I mean, a lot of good stuff going across the board right now.
Yeah, we explained that cup. We didn't have enough time tonight to,
it's a little weird. It's a little weird.
It's a complicated thing, but we'll talk about it on the next show, Dustin. So, hey, man, enjoy your Thanksgiving.
You too, man. And happy Thanksgiving. We'll say it again tomorrow night, but happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there this week. Safe travels.
Happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you back here on the Sports Kings NBA show right here, streaming on YouTube.